Happy hump day, Soulies. What's the vibe? Let's get straight into it because, yes, you guys, and I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, you'd also be consuming a lot of content on social media and in your ear holes around all of the cosmic transits that are happening this week and over the next kind of couple of weeks, of which there are many. And the majority of these transits are occurring in the sign of Aries. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down. I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to break each of these transits down in a very easy to understand way. I'm going to explain what's already in Aries, what those planets mean, what that could feel like. I'm going to explain the transits that are occurring today, tomorrow, over the next few days, where they're joining in Aries. I'm going to explain the relationship between each of these planets and what that could look like. And then I'm going to talk to you about how this will impact your personal chart. So it would be cool for you to get your personal chart up at some point. I like to use astro.com, plug in your birth details and pull your chart up, but we'll get to that in the second half of this episode. And I haven't, like, to be honest, I've kind of been excited about this energy. And I know that Libra moon took me down and out because I do have a personal Libra moon. And I would say if you do have personal Aries planets, you're probably, well, maybe you are feeling excited, but you will be worked. There's no denying that and could look in a multitude of ways. I also think if you have strong Libra energy in your chart, if you haven't already been worked, you could be worked in the next few days just because Libra is the opposite sign of Aries and there's so much fire and so much activation happening in Aries now and over the coming days. I actually genuinely had to write notes around everything that's happening astrologically, which I never usually have to do. But because there are so many moving parts, I just want to get it all clear. So by the 17th, 18th, we are going to have 7 placements transiting through Aries. Transiting means moving through the sign of Aries. So let's look at what Aries energy is first, and then each of the planets that's currently there and that's moving there. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So there is a newness to Aries energy. There is a youthful quality to Aries energy. Aries in tarot is represented by the Fool card. I think I said that on Saturday's, on the weekend's episode or Monday's episode, which is like there is this naivety to Aries, not in a weak way, but almost like a, what I don't know won't kill me or won't hurt me. It's almost like I'm going to forge my own path and not look behind me because I'm so marching to the beat of my own drum. Like Aries almost gives maiden energy in the best ways, in that like I without like underestimating Aries, because Aries is also the warrior, and we'll get to that. Aries does have this like youthful energy around life, but also backed by, and I know everything. They really back themselves. And the reason that they back themselves and they feel they know everything is because they're very clear on what they want. They're very clear on what they are actioning toward. Aries is a fire sign and it is an action sign. It's a sign that moves. It's a sign that goes. Like when I read people with strong Aries charts, I'm like, you better be doing some form of martial arts, boxing, or physical exertion because this is energy that wants to move. Fire doesn't want to stagnate, it wants to build and move. So this is an energy that, as like if you're watching YouTube, you'll see me. It's like forward momentum. It's not stagnant. It's like, let's do this. Aries is also the warrior, right? It's the warrior archetype and very much of the physical body, the physical vessel. It's where Libra, its opposite sign, is in the head. Aries is in the body. It's muscular, it's strong. It's like, what is my physical body capable of? And so there is this real warrior energy where Aries traditionally rules Mars, and Mars is the planet of war. And so this is where we can get these undertones of when there's a lot of Aries activity, there is the potential for conflict and tension building to like a boiling point, a boiling over almost, because it's heat. Heat rises, it boils over. Anger, aggression. Aries also is sex and it's penetration and it's getting things done. And I think what I'm seeing just in terms of pop culture astrology online, it's not a bad thing, but we're very much focusing on the war aspect and the conflict aspect. But can we also harmonize it with like this momentum, life force, fiery sexual energy. And like when it's used with intention, like there's a lot of good forward momentum. Aries is the leader of the zodiac. They don't care what people are doing to the left or the right. They just forge their own path and they go ahead unashamedly. So there are these really powerful qualities to Aries that is like, I am unapologetically going after what I want and marching to the beat of my own drum. So this is Aries energy as a whole. They are leaders. They know and are very clear in their wants. They actually couldn't care less if they hurt someone's feeling along the way because they're doing it for them, right? Now, and when Aries energy is suppressed, or when Aries energy is there's shame held around it, this can look like suppressed anger, suppressed aggression, or the opposite end of that spectrum, which is like misdirected anger, misdirected aggression. So you can see why when there's lots of planets moving into Aries and Aries season, it's like, whoa, we should be careful of that because yes, the shadow expression of this sign is war, aggression, anger, and it all being misdirected or suppressed or reaching this bubbling over point where we lash out. So the planets that are already, as you're listening to this, in Aries. Firstly, the sun, obviously. We are in Aries season. That means the sun is in Aries. We move into Taurus season on the 20th. Yeah, around, not the 20th. Yes, around on the 20th, which is next week. It's 5 days away. It's next Tuesday. So we are on the tail end of Aries season. This energy isn't new to all of us. We have been hanging out in this energy for the last few weeks, okay? So it's already been here. We've also got Saturn and Neptune, and these are both generational planets. These are planets that are transiting much more slowly than our personal planets. Saturn is government, it's authoritarian figures. I always say if you have a reading with me, Saturn's like the strict headmaster from school. Like he wants what's best for you, but he's going to give you hard lessons. And we know Saturn from our Saturn return, right? Our Saturn return can be brutal, but on the other side, we've become more of who we are. So Saturn in Aries from Feb this year, it's going to be there for a couple of years. So all of you who have your personal Saturn in Aries, you're in your Saturn return, right? But then we also have Neptune in Aries. Now, Neptune has been in Pisces up until this year. Neptune's going to be in Aries for about 15 years. It's going to be a while there. Now, Neptune is, because it's a slow moving planet, Neptune is about our dreams, our desires, connecting with vision, connecting with spirit. When it moves from like dreamy, watery Pisces, where it loves, into this fiery action energy of Aries, it's very much in its higher expression, like going after your dreams, pursuing the big visions, like throwing everything at what you desire. So these are all planets that are already there. We've also got Chiron in Aries. Now, Chiron is not a planet. Chiron is an asteroid, and our Chiron placement on our chart points to our wounding. So Chiron collectively, the wounding is in Aries, and it's been there long term, and it will be there for a few more years at least. I actually don't know how long it's going to be there. But Chiron in Aries is the wounding around Aries. So that could look like collective wounding around who's in charge, suppressed anger, not having ways to move anger through the body, displaced anger, misdirected anger. Chiron in Aries could look like being unapologetically about the self and not thinking of other. Chiron in Aries can also even look like inflammation in the body and not having means to or an outlet to move it through. All of these sorts of shadow aspects or challenges of the Aries archetype. So these are 4 placements that have been in Aries for the last couple of weeks at least, right? Nothing's changed. It's been all there for ages. Then we enter this period, which are in now, which is build up. So on the 10th, so we've been here for maybe the last 5 days or so, we had Mars move into Aries, okay? Mars loves being in Aries. Mars is Aries' ruling planet. So Mars, everything I explained about Aries, like rinse and repeat for Mars, right? So Mars is happy here. Mars is the planet of actualization, determination, getting shit done, sex, penetration. Like Mars represents masculine energy. It's forward momentum. It's fiery energy. So Mars being in Aries, it's like, it's happy here. It's like, yeah, let's get going. Like there's this forward momentum. Okay. So this has moved from like April 10th around then, if you're in, I'm talking Eastern Standard Time, like Australian Eastern Standard Time. Oh my God, I'm taking breaths because there's a lot. It's just, this is what the energy feels like. It's a lot. So it's this building, right? This slow building. So we've been, Mars is like, there's action. I want to do, I want to get going. Like, let's make things happen. We have Mercury entering Aries literally now, like as I record this, and it will continue to be there for a while. So it's like now energy. We've had the sixth placement in Aries with Mercury. Mercury governs communication. It also governs expression, knowledge, transportation. This is where it gets really interesting, especially when you look at geopolitically what's happening around the world. And we have a lot of placements in these transit activating, leaders, politicians, governments, but then also communication, then also action, and also even transportation. So it's very, very interesting how this is going to all unfold. But when Mercury is in Aries, it's direct. It doesn't give a fuck. It calls a spade, and it just speaks almost like abruptly. It could be perceived as rude. It really is this energy of I do not give a fuck, right? Misdirected, when our Mercury is misdirected, it could be lashing out when it's in Aries. It could be using words in a volatile manner. It could be feeling that anger bubbling and attacking with words, lashing out with yelling. Like think of like communication that's in its like shadowy Aries sign, like words wounding, basically being harsh. And that can be us giving and also being on the receiving end. Then we have the moon, and this is where it kind of goes ding because everything starts to line up. We've got the moon entering Aries tomorrow, as of tomorrow, because the moon is a fast-moving sign. But just because we've got the new moon in Aries, which hits at almost 10 o'clock on Friday night, Sydney time, it actually moves into the sign of Aries tomorrow. So we're already going to start to feel this moving into the new moon. Now, the new moon is when we do not see the moon in the sky, okay? And this is an energy of darkness, yes, because we can't see any light in the sky other than the stars, but it's also an energy of the planting of seeds. Like where the full moon is releasing, the new moon is like a new cycle can begin. What are we calling in? So we're going to start to feel this building if you haven't felt it already. I mean, we've had Mars the last few days, Mercury today, new moon, the moon tomorrow, new moon Friday. It's been a lot. And what I can feel like in the body is it feels like simmering anxiety and inability to catch breath, even like excited energy. Like it can be that sexual life force energy where it's like everything's exciting and there's a lot happening. And fuck, I need to just take a minute and catch a breath. I'm also feeling the vibe in terms of physically could look like any kind of histamine intolerances being amplified, because if you have an MCAS like me, that's actually suppressed anger that's trying to break through the skin barrier. So any kind of skin flare-ups, histamine intolerances, stronger hay fever than usual, sinus, like I had with Libra, sinus stuff is still in the field. I'm feeling migraines, tension headaches, pressure behind the eyes. It feels very upper body, throat, nose, eyes, third eye, crown, head, boom. All of this is being activated, and I feel like there's a collective upgrade happening right now with all this Aries energy, which is fucking sick. It's very cool, but you might feel fucking sick. So lean on your antihistamines if you need to, like your lymphatic stimulation, any kind of practices that are going to help move this energy, this heat up and out the body. Fevers, 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 right? This is what it's pointing to. So it's going to reach this crescendo over this weekend, and then things are going to start to taper off. Let's have a look at the dates when things start to taper off, because it's not going to be these 7 placements in Aries for a long time. We've got the sun leaving Aries and moving into Taurus on the 20th of April. Now, that's going to be really nice already, because we love a Taurus season. And we love a Taurus season when Taurus energy comes in to go, okay, let's harmonize some of this fire, because Taurus is earth. It's sensual. It's embodied. It's like, let's get grounded. Let's move some of this fire through, and let's get into our bodies, and let's connect back with the earth. And you can actually lean on this Taurian grounded energy in the lead up to these Aries transits, just to give yourself some grounding. Take a beat, smell a flower, lean on beauty, like especially because Libra is also this harmonizer of Aries energy. So these Venusian qualities really are a mirror to Mars energy, and then the Libra energy is a mirror to Aries energy, and then Taurus is also ruled by Venus. So there feels like the medicine for all of this activity and fire actually lies in Venus, the goddess. And I didn't join these dots, guys, until speaking this out, but she's the goddess of love and beauty. Okay. She's the goddess of what we value. She's the goddess of our finances. So, what can you do to activate the Venusian within? This is actually so textbook. It's so fitting because if you listen to Monday's episode, you'll know that I fly down to Sydney tomorrow. I've been invited to this Vogue Pamela Anderson event, big deal. And I'm like, I'm going all out. I'm going shopping for a new outfit. I'm getting my hair done. Like, I'm dressing up. And I didn't realize I've been doing this, but in all of this Aries activation that's happening for me in my 10th house, and we'll look at that in a second for all of you, but I'm leaning on the Venusian aspects that I love, which is my Libra moon, to harmonize the fiery action. I think we can all do that over the coming, let's say, 7 days at least, as we edge into Taurus energy more and more. Lean into the Venusian. Venus loves beauty of all senses. So activate your senses. Beautiful smells as an anchor, beautiful poetry, imagery, texture. Be comfortable, lays in the bath, like do things that the goddess in you, like what does the goddess in you want? What does she need? What are her desires? Now, remember that I said that Aries is about our wants, our needs, and our desires. So this is a very good time for you to get clear on what those are. And especially over the new moon, like sit and contemplate, what do I want out of my life? What do I need out of my life? What do I desire? Get clear on the feelings and the actions because you guys know this surely if you've been consuming my content. Manifestation is the feelings and the desires met with action, right? So this is the time to be doing those things, bringing the visions to life, taking those steps in the right direction, right? So I think we're missing this conversation online where everyone's like, what's happening collectively? Like, is World War III coming? Look, there's going to be some stuff happen globally, but there's only so much we can control globally. Why don't we look at our micro worlds and how we can navigate this time for ourselves and our families and our loved ones? So literally then we've got, hang on a second. I'm looking at the degree points that I've written down too. When the sun moves into Taurus on the 20th, the moon moves into Taurus on the 18th, because the moon is very fast moving. Mercury moves into Taurus on the 1st of May. So Mercury is hanging out in Aries for the rest of April, right? So there's still some volatility, aggression, misdirected words, word play. Yeah, it's almost like as I'm speaking this out, it's like, can you trust what people are saying? Or is there like an undercurrent of like them trying to get something from you? That energy is going to continue until the 1st of May. And but we do have Mars in Aries until June. So slowly, these planets, these faster moving planets, will leave Aries. Especially, we'll start to feel a little bit of it lift once the moon and the sun leave Aries at the beginning of next week. And then we have a couple more weeks until Mercury leaves and moves into Taurus. And that's going to just feel so grounding. It's going to feel so nice. So, this is what we have to look forward to. For me personally, I'm not making any big decisions for the end of the year until we move through April. And we go to Fiji, and we are still going to Fiji. It's happening. We go to Fiji as a family on the 5th of May. And I've had this, overseas trip planned for the end of the year. I haven't booked flights. And for the longest time, I didn't know why I hadn't booked them. And now I can see why. My intuition is like, just hold off, just hold off. Because while timelines are shifting very rapidly, we still don't know what the byproduct of what's happening geopolitically is going to be. And especially over the next week, I'd say to 2 weeks leading into May, there's going to be a lot of volatility, especially with our leadership figures globally, that truth is going to come out. There's going to be misdirected anger and aggression. Um, it's it's a lot of it's a lot of big energy, fiery energy, and when it's misdirected, which, ideally we want these placements to be in their highest expression, but when you're looking at our politicians around the world and our leaders, they definitely won't be. So there is going to be stuff that comes, and I think I said on our episode at the beginning of the week, it's giving civil war energy. It's giving like rising energy, like collectives rising and fighting back. And this is an energy that's like, enough, no more. This is actually what we desire. Like it's calling a spade a spade. So there is going to be that collective volatility. And I think what we need to be prepared for is firstly, how we're regulating our own nervous systems and coming back into our homes and our bodies. And secondly, what we are doing to be prepared for a potential fuel shortage, fuel lockdowns, these things that I've spoken about in previous episodes, like when you're prepared, you are not scared, right? And that doesn't mean there's not going to be that anger, but just being prepared to a point It's so interesting because I don't want to, I know that, it's my responsibility as someone that you listen to and someone who's psychically tapped in to just share what I'm feeling. But there is a part of me that's like, the timelines are moving so rapidly that I don't know how much of it is going to be diabolical for a longer period of time in this country, in Australia. I think financially, Australia is going to be hit, and we're going to get the ripple effects of whatever's going to play out in the States, in the US, whatever's going to play out in potentially the UK and EU as well. I think each kind of region is going to have its own shit to deal with. And for us here in Australia, and I know I've got listeners overseas as well, I'm only really feeling into um, what's going to be the ripple effect in Australia, and it feels like it's going to be like financial. Like I would say, and we're not mortgage holders right now, but if we were still, I'd be doing what I could to get a fixed mortgage. Yeah, I'd be doing things like having some cash on hand. It just feels like anything to do with banks and interest rates feels like it's going to be in jeopardy over the next couple of weeks. But also remember Mercury in Aries, its rules, Mercury in Aries right now is ruling transportation. And so let's look at probably fuel supply, more of a shortage, likely closing the strait again, likely fuel, what is it, lockdowns. I feel that that's probably going to come next week. I could be wrong. As I said, timelines are moving so quickly. And I think what we also need to do as a collective is push back on that. The more pushback they get, that they can't hold against pushback. I just don't think they've expected, and by they've, the power that be, have expected so much of a pushback. So this, where Aries rules your personal chart, let's shift into that zone because this is where it gets really interesting. This is where you can start to have a look at your wants and needs and desires through the lens of your own astrological chart. Okay. So what you want to do is, oh, I wish I had my chart. I'd pull it up on YouTube to show you guys. That's fine. What you want to do is you want to go to astro.com, plug in your details, pull up your chart. You are going to see in the little grid on the left-hand side, Aries, and you're going to see the symbol. It's known as the glyph of what Aries is. Have a look and find that glyph on your chart. It's going to correlate with one or two numbers on the middle of the chart. Those numbers are called your houses. The houses give a flavor to the way that that energy plays out in your chart. So you're looking at the houses that correlate with Aries energy, okay? Now, you don't need to understand why or what. That's, unless you're studying astrology, you don't need to know. Just work with me on this. It's like the way that you read someone's chart or your own chart is the layers of the flavors and the energy, okay? So you want to find where Aries is and the houses it straddles. I'm not going to talk about if you have planets in Aries, but this goes for all of you, whether there's a planet there, whether there's no planet there, you do have Aries in your chart. We're made up of all 12 archetypes. We just have stronger archetypes dependent on how many planets we have in those archetypes. For instance, I'm a very strong Virgo chart. I've got 3 Virgo placements. I'm also very strong Capricorn chart, 3 Capricorn placements. I have no Aries planets in my chart, but it still rules my 10th and 11th house. And I have my MC there, but we don't need to get into that. So what you are looking for are the numbers. And I'm going to explain Cliff Note version, very brief version, what this energy could be impacting in your life. So if you have Aries ruling the first house, identity, who am I, how you're showing up, your physical presentation in the world. Aries over the second house, money, materialism, financials, and your relationship with self-worth. Aries over the third house, knowledge, reading, books, study, education, or siblings. Aries over the fourth house and your IC. If you have Aries, the IC on Aries, this is your inner child. This is your relationship with your childhood and childhood wounding. The fourth house, home, family life, ancestry, childhood. The fifth house, play, joy, it's Leo energy. It's also children, fun, creativity. I'm just gonna pause there for a second. Guys, I'm just rattling this off the top of my head. This is how you know she's autistic and astrology is her special interest. Aries ruling the sixth house, routines and rituals for living in alignment with your values, well-being, wellness, health, giving back, being of service. The seventh house, Partnership and marriage, relationship with other, any kind of one-on-one relationship. So relationship with a bestie, relationship with a business partner, with a fellow podcast host, and romance and love and beauty. Aries over the eighth house is the taboo. So anything psychologically deep, anything that's excavating your shadows. This is the occult. This is sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Aries over the ninth house energy. Ninth house energy is philosophical. It's learning about life through living it rather than reading about it. This is about the meaning of life, spirituality. This is about philosophy and exploration, adventure, and travel. Aries over the 10th house, career, public image, money, leadership. That's where it's moving for me, by the way. So we can see why me going down to Sydney and getting invited to this Vogue Pamela Anderson event and being like, I need to put my best foot forward. That's what all this Aries energy is activating for me personally right now. We see? Okay. Let's move to the 11th house. Community, causes that mean a lot to us, and also friendship. And then the 12th house is connection with spirit, spirituality, relationship with the dreamscape, and being the empath and the visions that you hold. So go back and listen to the houses that I spoke to, and these are likely the areas or the themes in your life that want you to get clear and acted upon with this Aries energy. That's how you can use it, okay? I know there's a lot of, I don't want to say it's fear mongering, because I actually think a lot of it is just realistic. It's just realism. This is a very, very volatile week astrologically. Absolutely no doubt about it, especially in the most volatile energy of the zodiac. Is volatility meets volatility. So what we can do to navigate it is get clear on your inner world, where this energy is activating your personal chart, the charts of your loved ones, the charts of your children, and show up with what do you want and need and desire from this time, which actually, when used well, can be put the wheels in. This is at forward momentum, fire horse energy, put the wheels in motion around this part of your life. Now, that said, do not override what your energy needs. If you are down and out, if you are in a histamine flare, if you are fevering, if you are sinusing all over the shop, it's because your physical body is going, actually, we need to use this time to purge through. You don't have to do this practice over the next week. You've got at least until May to ride on the coattails of this energy. So I'm sending you all love. I really, really hope that the timelines that are shifting so rapidly do so in a way that anything that does come up globally, technologically, and transportationally do so in a way that's very, very quick and short-lived, because Aries is a fast burn too. So hopefully come May and all of that Taurus energy is creeping back in, we get back to simplicity. I mean, that could be that we are locked down and we're being told to fucking grow our own food. And that's so Taurus, make our own bread, use our hands, get our hands in the earth. But we can preempt that. Forewarned is forearmed. If you have questions about what else I'm feeling about this time, leave them in the comments on YouTube or in my Solis group, and I'll do a little follow-up reference for our episode next week. And I will be back in your ears with a little recap next Monday.